Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm sat here again in my XK8, and for people who've been viewing my other videos, you know that I've had a bit of problem more recently with my headliner in this car. So you can probably see it behind me, kind of sagging and coming away from the edge of the window trim here, and the story's even worse on the passenger side, so you can see it sort of billowing above the passenger seat. And I finally got round to buying a replacement for it. So there are a couple of ways to crack this nut of fixing the headliner. I've chosen one way, but I'll talk about the other as well. As with all my videos, I'm not an expert. I'm kind of discovering stuff for myself as I go. So rather than a how-to, this is how I've done it, and I'll let you know what I find and any mistakes that I make along the way. But there's not an awful lot of room in here to fit a headliner. So the first thing that I'll probably do is to remove the passenger seat to give me some more room, as well as disconnect the battery just to make sure I don't get an electric shock when I'm taking apart some of the trim in here. So you'll join me once I've done those two things, and we'll see how we get on. Right, so not going too well so far. I'm trying to get the front seat out. It needs a Torx 35 bit, and I only have a 30 or a 40, so can't really get the front seat out, but it is possible apparently to do it without removing the passenger seat. So we'll just have to keep on going, I think, because we should be able to get at least the old headliner out without that bit. So I've started taking off some of the trim. I'm on the visor bit, so I've taken one side out here. There's just a cover that you pop off with a screwdriver and a couple of self tappers. And on this one, there's a little plastic flap that you kind of prise down to get to the screw, then a firm pull to actually get the trim out of the sort of hole that's here. One thing that did sort of break on mine is this metal tab, which goes into the electrical connections for the vanity light for the visor mirror there. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to fix that. I might have to try and solder that back on again, which is a bit of a pain. I don't actually know how to get this trim piece off the wires, because these wires look like they're part of the clip there, and I can't see how to easily remove that. So I don't know if there's like a spade connection maybe up here somewhere that you undo to free this off so you can get the headliner out. Moving on now to the center light sort of clustery bits with the safety sonic detection sensor built in there. This is the thing that detects the size and weight of the occupants, so it knows how to deploy the airbags properly, and that's used with this sensor here and the one over here as well. I thought they were speakers potentially when I first got the car, but they're actually for this safety system. So John from To The Garage, your friend of mine, I'm sure you've seen a lot of his videos. He's already done a video on how to remove this center console light arrangement here. His is an earlier car and a convertible, so I don't know if it differs, but I'm just going to refer to what he's done and follow that as a guide, so I won't repeat what he's done there. If there's any differences to what he has already said, then I'll mention it. But yeah, To The Garage, as always, the sort of best resource for some of these more fiddly bits that you might not know how they work. So go and check out his channel if you haven't done already. So I'm going to carry on trying to remove these bits of trim to get this old bit out, and if anything interesting is found, then I'll mention that too. Okay, so this map light console's come down now. Just gripping the front edge of my hands and pulling firmly, there was a loud resounding snap as it came down. So I don't know if anything's actually broken, but it's these heavy duty clips that you can see here that hold it in. So they are quite tricky to release from where they came from. I don't think that's broken there. Maybe it has snapped slightly, but there's no other way to get this out, so that's just how it is. And this is where the sort of secret of how the vanity mirror lamp connection is kind of reveals itself. So you see these yellow plugs here. I've already unclipped one side, and this is effectively the other connection that goes through the hole and goes along here and clips in. So once you've unclipped those, that will pull out of the hole, and then you can release the electrical connection for that lamp there. So there are other wires in here, and they just go to like another sort of multi-plug up there, which I might actually be able to leave those in place because this won't prevent the headliner from coming out, but having this dangling here isn't that great. I don't know, it does seem secure dangling by the wires, but can't really be good for it. So I might just undo those just to get the map lamps out of the way, and then carry on with the passenger side visor, and then move on to the back one, which we'll see if that gives us any trouble. Right then, so removing those visors at the front and the centre map light console kind of frees up the whole front of the headlining to start being removed. It is tucked, or was tucked, behind these A-pillars, so you might want to consider taking the A-pillars off to make this process a bit easier. I might have to take them off for the refitting, but then the whole lot kind of comes down. There are bits of foam and stuff which kind of tuck up inside the roof here. I don't know if we need to retain these for the new headlining. I haven't actually got the old headlining out yet. I mean the new headlining out of its box yet to see what's in there. And then the back light just unpops with there's like a clip as well that unpops, and you can kind of take the light out and poke the wire through, and that frees out the back, but it is kind of caught on this window trim. It sort of tucks behind that. So I don't know if I can just pull this forward to free it off. I think I probably can. I'm not really too fussed about this old headliner, but I don't want to damage any of the existing trim in the process, so I'm going to give it a yank and see if I can get it out. And there we go, one horrible headliner. Let's compare this one to the one I've bought. So in my house you can kind of now see a comparison between the old one and the new one. And this is where I can kind of talk about the two different ways in which you can restore your headlining. So one way is to take the headlining out like I've done, and peel off the material and stick some new material on, which is certainly one way to do it. Now, if you're going to do it this way, I would probably advise to get a professional to do it, because having crinkles and creases and stuff in the headlining is not great, and also on refitting you're probably going to have to remove significantly more trim to do it that way, to avoid having to crease up the actual headliner board itself. So it's kind of a fibrous thing that could get creased. The way I've gone is for a replacement headliner in its entirety, and it's actually on a composite or glass reinforced plastic backing, so it makes it slightly more flexible than the other board. But what I am noticing is the colour difference. So I think I've actually chosen the wrong colour for my car, annoyingly. So the two choices are grey or beige. And looking in all my videos and things, I was absolutely convinced that I had a grey one, but now I've got it out, I think it's beige. So I don't know what this is going to look like in the car. I might even have to order another one. They're not that expensive, they're like 120 quid. So I could probably sell this to somebody who has got a grey car. And actually, just looking in the box, they've included the material for the A-pillars. So even if it's not the right colour, I wonder if I can get away with it by covering the A-pillars with that material. That might even be a better way of doing it. So let's see how we get on. We'll get this this grey headliner installed, see how it looks, and then maybe consider doing the A-pillars with this material, should it look really horrid. I don't think there's any other trim that's beige. There might be on the doors and things, but yeah, how annoying. But we're here now, so may as well do it. Okay, so that was a faff with these seats in place, like trying to get this headlining in. What I had to do is pop the passenger seat and the driver's seat down, so there was sort of more room above them to get it in, and also lower the door, passenger door window. So I had to put the battery, connect the battery back up and lower that back down again to allow me to wrestle this in. And it did have to bend quite a lot, so I don't know if I've creased the material at all, but it was the only way it was going to get in without taking the seats out. So I mean, I'm doing this as a bit of an experiment, really, to bring it to you guys. You might want to take more care over yours if you're doing it. One of the tips that someone gave me was to leave the bubble wrap and foam bits on when you're doing this, because it could bash other bits of trim on the way in, and I can totally believe that. So that was a good bit of advice from somebody forget who it was now, but thank you very much, because I think that saved me bashing some other bits and pieces in the car. I'm so annoyed about this colour thing. Don't know why I didn't check it properly. Oh well, that's totally my fault. And yeah, I mean, this hasn't been too onerous so far, and £120 isn't the end of the world, so I can always order another. So let's get this thing in, see how it looks, and hopefully the grey and beige combo isn't going to look too bad. I mean, I can't really see where else it's used apart from the back sort of speaker grills. They might be beige as well. But the weird thing is, on the back here, on the rear deck, that definitely is grey. That's not beige, so I don't think it's going to look too bad. As long as I sort out these A-pillars, which are right next to it, I don't think it's going to be too contrasting. And there's grey in other parts of the car. There's dark grey down here, so yeah, I won't beat myself up over that. But yeah, let's see if we can get this thing in and finish the job. Right, so headline is in finally. Did take a bit of effort getting it in here, and one thing to remember is that the back has to go in first over these rear sort of window trims, and what I found really handy was to undo these coat hooks that go in here, because these are on a big sort of self-tapping screw like this that screws to the body, and that allows you to pull this away and slide the headliner back into its sort of position at the back of the thing here, and all the while remembering to make sure that this rear light electrical connection is not trapped back here, which mine was to start with. So that's that sorted. There are some sort of sharp bits behind that trim, and when I was figuring out how to do this, I have sort of made a couple of indentations in the felt there, which is a bit annoying. Hopefully they'll just sort of come out over time, but you know, this was only 120 quid in the end, so not the end of the world. And I think this kind of DIY kit represents kind of the middle ground between buying some material and sticking it to the old headliner and getting a professional to do it. And I really recommend this way, actually, because you get that professional looking result. I mean, everything looks absolutely perfect. Like, it's spot on size wise, all the holes are there for the visors and stuff, and it does make my A-pillars look awful now. So luckily they did it, include the extra material just to cover those with a bit of spray glue, and then they'll look just as good as the headliner, and all matching colour, crucially. And now that it's in, it doesn't look too contrasting actually with what's there, and I could live with that. And once those A-pillars are done, then that's just going to look awesome. So yeah, that's definitely within the you know, the capabilities of a home sort of amateur person who's not a mechanic. I'm not a mechanic. I don't pretend to know a lot about how the cars are put together, but doing a job like this, which is tricky but not impossible, it lets you find out a bit about how your car's put together and makes the next task sort of less daunting. So I recommend it for anyone who's got a dodgy headliner. You haven't really got much to lose, because if you wreck your old headliner, then it was broken anyway, and the new one, it's 120 quid. So yeah, it's annoying if you broke it, but it did sort of take a bit of punishment coming in here and bending this way and that, so I think it's pretty hardy. So yeah, Headliner World, based in Kent, and that's where I got the kit from. Get hold of them either on eBay. I think they've got a website as well. Really recommend them, and people have already recommended them to me, so they must be pretty good. So that's it really. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this has been useful for some people, and I'll see you again soon with more Jaguar XK8 related content and other classic car stuff. So see you later. Bye.